Welcome to Punky's Pro Wrestling and Kidmissing TV. I say that because this video is going up on both. It's going up on Punky's Pro Wrestling first. Then next month it will go up on Kidmissing TV. So I'll hold on to it until then. This is the unsolved murder of Adolfo Bresciano, known to wrestling fans as Dino Bravo. His wife and tiny daughter were at ballet lessons. Someone said it was a recital and asked why he wasn't there. Someone said there was a hockey game on. But it wasn't a recital, it was actually just her lesson. Sometime after she left, while he was watching the hockey game, a friend, we don't know who, but he trusted, knocked on the door, and he told him to come in. And the best they can figure is the friend excused himself to use the bathroom, but then turned around and shot him. This was March 10th, 1993. He shot him 17 times, 7 of which were in the head. The other 10 were to his torso, leaving the living room splattered in blood as his wife stood in shock, discovering all of this while holding their sleeping daughter in her arms. The crime scene looked like the crime scene out of a mafia movie. And the man who called himself the world's strongest man was now dead at the young age of 44. He was known as the Canadian Strongman. They believe, based on things other wrestlers have said and probably some evidence, that he was involved in cigarette smuggling with a family member who was a member of the mafia. And they believe that he may have been taking cigarette shipments and selling them himself. Bret Hart also said in his book, in his memoir, that Dino had told him his days were numbered, quote unquote. Yeah, he and his family member that was in the mob had died in 1984. And this is what French Canadian wrestler Rick Martel said. Quote, Dino had painted himself in a corner. He tried to stay in the WWF, but he just couldn't. Vince didn't want to have him back. I remember I called Pat Patterson and I suggested that I team up with Dino because I liked him. I said, I'll take the bumps and do all the moving around and he can just do the strong stuff. I'm sure we can make it work, you know? He said, no, we just think that Dino doesn't fit anymore in our plans. He continued, Dino liked the high lifestyle. He had a sports Mercedes, he had a big home, you know, and suddenly wrestling was over. Dino couldn't be a 9 to 5 guy. He didn't have any business experience of any kind. Wrestling was his whole life. And back then, WWF was the only game in town. So if he couldn't do it for the WWF, what could he do? Continuing Rick Martel's quote, his uncle by marriage was the head of the mafia in Montreal, and he was always saying, Dino, come to work for me. The Catroni family was part of the Bonanno crime family branch out in Montreal, one of the 5 families, in quotes, that dominate organized crime activities in New York City and beyond. Dave Meltzer said, quote, within wrestling, it was often rumored that Bravo's name was linked to the Montreal underworld. His Aunt Maria was the wife of Vic Catroni, who had a reputation for being Montreal's leading mob godfather. Dino Bravo often worked as a chauffeur for Paul Catroni, a relative of Vic's, reportedly a member of the powerful underworld family. Rumors only got stronger when Gino Brito, his partner in several businesses, including the local regional wrestling office, was arrested as part of a loan sharking ring. He had told Rick Martel he didn't want to go into crime to make a living. And after borrowing from his mother and having to lower his pride to do that, or swallow his pride to do that, he went into the cigarette smuggling business. He went to see the Indians, Native American Indians, who had the river, so they could smuggle cigarettes, arms, whatever. And they really liked wrestling, and they saw Dino Bravo, and they were like, cool, man. Um, and then the cocaine kingpin went to Dino and said, let me in on your cigarette deal, I'll let you in on my coke deal. So a week before Dino died, apparently his cocaine connection went to the warehouse to pick up the cigarettes, and the police were already there. Police had been tipped off. And him and Dino were blaming each other back and forth. This is all from Rick Martel. And that was a week before he was killed. And even Rick Martel said it had to be the person that was watching the hockey game with him, got up and said, I have to go to the bathroom, and then shot him from behind. The detective said the remote control was loose in his hand. They say that if they shoot you from the front, you'll see it coming and your muscles will tense. And that makes sense. And the remote control will be grasped tightly. But because he didn't see it come, his hand relaxed. His hand relaxed. Illegal cigarettes are a $1.5 billion industry in Canada because the tax on cigarettes is between 63 and 79% of the price. He is in a mausoleum at Notre Dame des Neiges. Neiges, Neiges. So it's Neiges Cemetery in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. And his uncle, who was in the mob, his mother's sister's husband, was also his godfather, no pun intended, his actual godfather. So, it's very unfortunate that it happened, and it probably won't be solved because of who is involved. The weird thing is they said there were no footprints outside his house in the snow. But we know somebody was in the house with him. So where are their footprints? Although it is, I mean, chances are his walkway was shoveled off, so it just means they didn't walk around the house. They must have walked straight up the walkway and up onto the porch or deck or whatever. That's all I can think of, and there wouldn't be footprints in the snow because there wouldn't be snow there. Let me know what you think. And again, next month this will go up on Kidmissing TV as well as here on Punky's Pro Wrestling. So you will see a poster here. So, yeah, it's unfortunate. And it's unfortunate his daughter grew up without him. Just so glad she was asleep. I didn't see the horror movie that her mother saw. Oh. Thank you so much for joining me, guys. God bless you. Have a wonderful rest of your day. I will see you next time. Please subscribe. We're trying to get up to 50 on the channel by April 9th and 750 over on Kidmissing by 4th of July. Bye, guys. God bless you.